Hey guys, my name is Marissa Chubb, and I'm a second semester freshman at Emmanuel College, and this is
Jennifer Elrod, the youth pastor at Honey Path Pentecostal Holiness Church.
And this week we have a video entitled
Second Chances.
Now, what a second chance actually is basically you forgiving someone who is, they hurt you by maybe they lied to you, they gossiped about you. That happens a lot. Or maybe they just were not very nice people to you. But there are actually a few ways that we do tend to be hurt by people, or even we hurt others.
That's right. And a second chance is basically like a redo or a chance maybe to right a wrong. Now, a lot of people do not like giving second chances.
No.
They kind of think if you get burnt one time, don't go down that road again. But psychologists actually say there are 4 reasons that people should consider giving second chances to other people. Number 1, you feel happier when you forgive someone.
Ooh.
Maybe not initially, but probably in the long run. Number 2 is it's practical. We don't necessarily think about the practicality of a second chance, but when you're talking about switching to a brand new product you've never tried before, that you've always been loyal to the old one, maybe you just got a bad product one time and then all of a sudden you want to move on, but it could be a company, it could be a friend, but no one likes starting over, kind of starting over at the beginning of a friendship or a relationship. Number 3, you would want someone to treat you in the same manner. So if you had wronged somebody else inadvertently, by mistake, even on purpose, you would still want somebody to give you a second chance. And number 4, people can change. Now, a lot of people don't necessarily agree with that one, but we definitely know what the word says about people changing. We're definitely with that Saul to Paul conversion. Now, ways people ask for second chances may be like, can we start over? Let me reintroduce myself. Can we just try again? Or I'm really, really sorry. Usually somebody has to ask for forgiveness. Definitely telling you they learned from their mistakes or claiming they're different now.
But see, oftentimes we have this little phrase. It's used at my house a lot. Water off the duck's back. You just you let it roll. But really, that's just suppressing everything, which really means, number 1, you have not forgiven that person. You are now holding a grudge, kind of subconsciously, because you're trying not to let it bother you, but you're holding a grudge, which is unhealthy. And the Bible actually speaks against it. But we're also not, by letting that, water roll off our backs, we're just like, it's past, it's done, I'm over with, I'm moving forward from that. You're not even gonna stick around long enough to see it, like you said, is this person gonna change? Are they gonna ask for forgiveness? And sometimes we don't even need to wait for them to ask for forgiveness. We just need to have our hand extended, ready to give it, whether they ask tomorrow, a couple years from now. Some people have even gone, years without talking or having a relationship because one person was not ready to extend the hand of forgiveness, even if that person had apologized.
We all deserve a second chance, and obviously we talked about if it was us, we would want one, but a lot of times we're so obsessed with getting things right at the very first time that it's don't even think about needing a second chance for something. I mean, what kid wants to take a test again? But there are also people who just absolutely refuse to give us second chances, but thankfully we know someone who always gives us a second chance. God continues to not only give us a second, but a third, but a fourth, but a 56th, but a 102nd, whatever chance we need. God's going to extend it to us. And if there was one disciple that we can absolutely talk about today, that we just want to grab by the shoulders and ask, are you ever going to get it right? That is definitely...
That's Peter.
That's Peter. And you know what? Sometimes as we are reading the story of Peter as it unfolds in the New Testament, we think, what did Jesus see in him?
Because we probably don't see anything except for somebody who is hot-headed, impulsive.
And he's just got a loud mouth. Let's just be honest. He interrupts all the time. Won't even let Jesus finish what he's saying before he's already...
He won't even let Jesus have the first word. He cut off a soldier's ear, and Jesus is like...
completely butting in. And then Jesus is like, that's my diamond in the rough. He absolutely is not going to let Peter go anywhere because he realizes that even though Peter's not going to get it right the first time or the second time or the third time, there is something very special about Peter. There is a reformation that can come and a restoration that can come with Peter. Jesus is the one that always still welcomed Peter with open arms, no matter what he did, whether it was, not trusting him or cutting off this soldier to even denying him 3 times. You would think, he denied him 3 times, not just 1 time, not 2 times, but 3 times. And after that, Peter was devastated. He really felt bad about the way that he treated the person that trusted and loved him the most, the one that was always willing to extend a second chance to him. And the thing about Peter is he thought he'd exhausted all his chances.
And yet Jesus said, no, Peter, there's another one.
And he's like, everybody else didn't see anything at all. I saw the diamond in the rough, but now it is time for you to sparkle and shine. And so Mark's account of the resurrection is very interesting. If you dig a little bit deeper, it's different than the other accounts because the angel actually tells the women, but go tell the disciples and Peter, make sure that boy knows that I'm going to go before you to Galilee. Of all the disciples, he wanted to know that he had not left him out. He didn't say the disciples minus the 2, the one that betrayed him and the one that denied him. He only names one for sure that has to know,
and that's Peter,
that he is resurrected, and that is Peter. And then, of course, as soon as Peter finds out this news, not only is he going to give him a second chance, he's going to completely restore him. Because as they sit on the shore that day, he asked him 3 times, are you going to feed my sheep? Are you going to take care of my people? Peter, all these other disciples, of course they will do my work and most of them be martyred for my cause. But you are the one that is going to take care of my people. And he asked him 3 times, maybe for every time that he denied him. And you know what? Peter absolutely flips the New Testament church upside down for him.
Completely. But when we see Jesus forgiving, he could have easily held a grudge against Peter. I mean, he could have easily said, I'm completely done with you. I don't want anything to do with you. Goodbye. And that, a lot of times, is how we respond to other people. We do not, for lack of other words, show Jesus.
It's one and done.
Yeah. If we hear something about a person who they have a track record with other people you may be friends with or who you may have met in the past, you don't even give them a chance to prove everybody else's opinion of them or their accounts of them wrong. And you also don't give them a chance to prove you wrong. But when we hold grudges, number one, we're not showing Jesus, but we're also, that's really unhealthy for us. The Bible even warns us about holding grudges and about the root of bitterness, not just taking root, but growing and kind of, in a way, corrupting your heart.
Taking over.
It's kind of like a weed. If you don't take care of the weed from the root, it's just going to keep coming back. It's like, you see the little grass in between the cracks in the cement, and you see little kids trying to pull it up. But every time they pull it up, it grows back.
This is like the kudzu vine or the devotional.
Yes. But every time they pull it up, it comes back because they got what they could see, what they knew was there, but they didn't get the root of the problem. And the root of a lot of our problems is bitterness. And oftentimes that bitterness is accompanied by deep, deep anger. We have that anger towards that person, not only because, number one, we haven't forgiven them, so our hearts cannot be mended from that, but that bitterness, it is like a weed, or like that kudzu that you wrote about. Because not only does it affect your relationship with that person, but eventually it corrupts and really has a bad effect on possibly even other relationships in your life. Bitterness, especially towards God, that's a big problem.
People don't give God a second chance. I know we've been talking about other people, but that's something definitely to explore if you feel like he's let you down in any way because he didn't answer something the way that we want it answered.
Yeah, he didn't answer it on time. Well, what you would perceive as on time.
Or in your way.
Yeah, especially, my way or the highway. That phrase.
Have it your way, right away.
But we fail to give God a second chance a lot. Probably 90 to 95% of the time, we don't offer him or even think about considering giving him a second chance. Number one, he doesn't really need a second chance because he's always right. And he's always got our best interest at heart. He's always got a better plan than what we do. And he's already thought about every single possible thing that could go on in your life, from the time before you're even born to the time past when you're not even here anymore. But yet we think he's failed us somehow.
And you know, a lot of times, sometimes first chances just aren't that successful because we learn from our mistakes the second time around. So there's a quote that says second chances are not given to make things right, but are given to prove that we could do better even after we fall.
Wow.
And I think that definitely applies to Peter's life, but many of our own lives as well. You know, in a recent study that Lifeway conducted, 47% of people, these were Christians, said they still suffer from regret or past decisions. And a lot of that probably stems from not giving people that have hurt them a second chance, or other people not giving them a second chance. And then they turned around though, and 84% of them said, oh, God is a God of second chances. So why are they themselves not giving second chances or living with that root of bitterness or regret? But I also wonder about the other 16% of Christians who are out there that believe God doesn't give second chances.
And that alone is sad in itself, because he's got not only second chances, but infinite chances.
You read that book over and over again, like we've talked about with the Israelites. We still have not exhausted all the stories with them, but consider how many chances they were given. You know, when it comes to God, we can't run out of second chances. Only time.
Wow. You know, there's another quote that says, resentment hurts you, meaning the person that has it. Resentment hurts you, not them.
Those are good thoughts for us to consider this week as we kind of close out. But definitely, you need to think about giving people second chances in your life. If you want God to give you one, if you want other people to give you one, then you need to consider giving them yourself. Let's close this out in a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, God, we thank you that you are the God of second chances and third chances and fourth chances, how many ever times it takes, because your word says that we are to forgive people 70 times 7. Lord, we thank you for those who have been able to see that we can learn mistakes from the second time around, that we can learn more about you and the nature of you, and that we can extend that grace and mercy to other people. Help us to have a heart of forgiveness and love and not have a heart of regret and bitterness. Lord, we thank you for your word as it has been brought forth today on second chances. In your name we pray. Amen. Join us next time or follow our Facebook page for some of our daily devotions. Bye, guys.